she did this crap yesterday. Say hi, baby. Say hi.
Hi.
she, she is fluffy as all hell, adorable as all hell, but God, is she just the worst? I'm telling you. I love my cats, but this one is rotten to the core. Screw it. Welcome everybody to the Daily Cup of Genre here on the Genreverse Podcast Network. Wherever you get your podcast from, and the Genreverse Podcast Network YouTube channel, please follow and subscribe there. Check out our parent website, lrmonline.com, every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. And of course, we are we are sponsored by the good folks over at Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. A little bit more from them later in the episode. I am Kyle Malone, and joined once again this week by Shockey. What's up, bud?
Not too much. It's good to be on this show on a kind of regular basis. Well, while Manny's recovering from COVID, the San Diego Comic-Con version of it. So
yeah. I do have a setup for Daily COG with 3 people, so feel free to jump on anytime you want with Manny and us, and hopefully Manny will be all recovered and ready to be back on the show next week. Today, though, we got a little bit of Marvel stuff to chit chat about, which is great. It's going to be a Marvel heavy day on the Genreverse Podcast Network. Our regular Marvel news and review show, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. God, a lot of M's today. Went up this morning on YouTube, so check that out. Nick and I get a real good and in-depth conversation about the mutants and the news about why we're not getting X-Men until most likely 2025 or after. So yeah, check that out. Speaking of the Marvel news and kind of the two interesting stories that I wanted to get into, and then something else you brought up. One, let's start with the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Let's start with that. We have an issue in Phase 4, and I know Ant-Man and the Wasp starts Phase 5, but we have an issue in Phase 4 of all of this multiverse stuff, and we're supposed to get all these changes to the MCU, and it's supposed to be permanent. It was supposed to happen in Loki. It was supposed to happen in No Way Home. It was supposed to happen in Doc Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and yet most people feel that we have no big changes. Like 616 is mostly the same. The people in it are from that dimension or that universe, except for like America. And yeah, we have a quote from Peyton Reed, who is directing has directed all the Ant-Man movies, but is also doing Quantumania, and he wants to use that phrase, hey, things are gonna I don't have the browser up for you guys, give me 1 second. We don't have or that things are gonna change once again for everyone, for forever. And where is that browser? Let me just read the quote, okay? He's being asked about reception at Marvel's Hall H, and he says it was the energy was great, and yeah, kicking off Phase 5 is really exciting for us because we're the Ant-Man movies. It's our 3rd movie, and I really want to get this up. There we go, got it. It's our 3rd movie. It's this trilogy now, but things happen in this movie that are going to change the Marvel Cinematic Universe permanently. And I mean that's Phase 5 after 2 years, almost three years now of Phase 4 stuff. I don't know, man. Do you actually believe it'll happen this time? And if you don't see ramifications across the MCU for it in this movie, do you think that might turn people off in Phase 5?
No, I think it's similar to in the comic book realm of when a character dies, it's temporary. They always come back. Nothing is ever permanent. I think the only person to stay dead in the comic book world is Uncle Ben, right? Because almost everyone else
as far as like
has come.
main universe,
Yeah, man, universes. Yeah, even the Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker version came back. You know, that was the funniest thing. They did a whole thing. He's dying, and Death of
I know,
Superman. He's
right?
dying. Yeah, they all come back. So I think it's one of those type of events. Like I take it like that. Like Civil War, and you know, when what was it, early 2000s when that comic book series came out. It was going to change the Marvel, you know, perception of comic books forever, and it was a great event and everything. But 10 years later, we're right back into it and stuff. You know, it's pretty much the same old, same old.
We had Civil War 2 even with Tony
Yeah, I mean,
and Carol.
Steve Rogers was dead as Captain America and came back, and you know, it's Captain America's back. So I take it like that. I look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe now and the movies and stuff, and when we hear these game changing and you know, this is going to be the end for our superheroes. Yep, same bat time, same bat place. Come back next week. You know.
But what about actual multiverse changes, like actual multiverse ramifications?
Unless there's something we don't know in Phase 6, because remember, the only things we know Phase 6 is we're getting Fantastic Four movie and the two Avengers films. Yeah. So we don't know really what like Disney, because I doubt Phase 6 is just 3 movies. There's got to be some Disney Plus shows in there and stuff. So I think whatever ramifications happen in Quantumania are going to affect that, because we know everything's lined up for Phase 5 and everything pretty much is. I mean, unless they somehow explain Chadwick Boseman's death, or you know, T'Challa's death in Black Panther before we get it. But I don't see that happening, because Black Panther's coming out right before Quantumania. So I mean, so you really have everything laid out already for Phase 5. So, and it's pretty much status quo. You know, every superhero that we've already seen, unless it's Tony Stark or Steve Rogers, is pretty much in their same universe, same realm. So, like, unless we get multiple versions of the Lokis, you know, showing up again, I think that's the only show that really had pivotal ramifications, because there's multiple Lokis that don't look like, you know, our 616 Loki and stuff. Everything else is pretty much twins of each other and stuff. So,
that and
Scrolls,
of course, No Way Home. So
I mean, I don't know.
Scrolls. I keep thinking about that report that it's contract stuff with producers and actors for the X films. I think maybe Marvel jumped the gun a bit, and that's why they haven't done. They should have come out right if that's the case, and contracts are right. Why we can't get mutants anytime soon? I think that alone would have maybe satiated people a bit. Like, people are looking for the multiverse. They're looking for changes. They're looking for things to start
kind of like an
showing
ultimate
up.
universe. Yeah.
Something, and it just every time, like you said, it kind of feels reset, which is disappointing, because you could watch the MCU fall apart from Phase 2 into Phase 3, and I mean in a good in story good way, you know, from Civil War and into Infinity War, Endgame, and everything. Like, you had trajectory, and this just feels so aimless. And man,
it's gonna be one
rough.
of those things that when it's all said and done, we're gonna look back and be like, or hopefully we're gonna look back and say, oh, okay, all right, that's how it was all planned out and stuff. Where in Phase 1, 2, and 3, we knew what we were going to. We knew, like, this one, it's still a mystery, even though it is better explained in a sense. Someone made on Twitter. It would have been cool to see, is since we're doing all this multiverse stuff, is Disney Plus being the ultimate universe. All the Disney Plus shows, and not like so take away Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like, instead of reset, go back to the start of Phase 4 and say, okay, movies are going to be 616, Disney Plus shows Ultimate Universe, with then the end of Phase 6, the Secret Wars, is Ultimate Universe and 616 coming together. Yeah.
Because there's always been a lot of similarities between the two, and you could even say that, you know, things like Loki are where 616 touches it, but I don't think they're gonna do that. They need to do something. There has to be, and the problem is, and like Jammer will bring up on Breaking Geek Radio all the time. He's like, oh well, it doesn't matter, just watch individual movies and stuff. It's like, yeah, that would be okay if they build it like that. If they hadn't also set up this universe the way that they have, they're not doing expectations correctly in my opinion. Like that to me is the problem. Is we're being sold this everything connected multiversal deal, and
Right.
we're just not getting it. So it's kind of disappointing in that aspect. But when it comes to the movies, though, Kevin Feige had an interesting quote about what Avengers films would be like going into the future, and instead of getting Avengers movies to kind of cap off a phase, you're gonna use the Avengers to cap off sagas. So he said, let me get that back up for everyone, and this is coming from IGN, but out of a interview from MTV, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
MTV News.
So this is Feige speaking. As phase 4, 5, and 6 were coming together, there were more projects in less years because of all of the amazing stuff we are now allowed to do on Disney Plus, and getting characters from Fox, Fantastic Four, and Deadpool. That it felt like, certainly after Infinity War and Endgame, that we thought Avengers movies aren't cappers, he said. So many of our movies now, Multiverse of Madness and what you're about to see in Ant-Man and the Wasp, are all big team-up films introducing big parts of the mythology. Avengers films really should be the capper to a saga. I don't know that I disagree with that. I think that's fair. I'll personally miss getting more Avengers films, but the idea of Marvel being more than the Avengers kind of goes back to the comic idea that they're more than the X-Men and Spider-Man as
Right.
well, which is something the comics really focused on. How do you feel about this? I think it's kind of smart.
Yeah, I think so too. I think now with the use of Disney Plus, you can hit a lot of these other comic book characters. You can get them kind of their origin stories, and then you can have them show up in some of the already more established character movies that you have out. So I think what do you call it?
Sure.
Like no, never mind. I was thinking of wrong setup there. But no, I think
it's all right.
Sorry, brain fart right there. But yeah, I think it's the same setup, and that's a smart move to do, to make the Avengers films in cappers, not necessarily just team up movies anymore. That those are for Disney Plus, and then the regular movies can do the team ups.
I mean, they really have to push the Disney Plus thing. The problem with streaming services, whether people like it or not, is it doesn't make as much money as theatrical releases, and additionally, it doesn't make as much money as over the air or satellite cable TV, where you can have multiple advertisers in one show. You get, in America, usually a 30-minute show gets 3 commercial breaks plus stuff in between shows, and each commercial break can fit in three or 4 commercials. You can make a lot of money on advertising.
Right.
And so by pushing a lot of things to Disney Plus and putting a big focus on that, they allow people to stay subscribed longer, and that's always been what you could see Marvel and, well, Disney just in period with Marvel and Star Wars trying to do is get to where they've got 4 or 5 things each, across all ages coming out each year on Disney Plus, because otherwise you run the risk of people doing that whole, I'll just get, hold my subscription for Mando and then get rid of it until the next season of Mando. Well, what about Andor? What about the Ironheart series versus for Marvel? And so people are more likely gonna stay if there's more content. Anyways, last little quick Marvel story for everyone. This one has some potential spoilers, but if you follow what has been going on for Wakanda forever. This is not really a big spoiler, but Lego, as usual, throwing out their set, seems to have revealed Shuri's Black Panther. You can see some images here. I got them up from the Cosmic Circus because that was like the first thing that popped up. But these are from Lego, the images, and you can see a few sets set in the Wakanda lab. You can see a set from Namor's throne hall, and very clearly see Shuri using the gauntlets that she had from previous movies, and a black and purple Black Panther outfit, as well as one set that's got a more traditional, just black and silver Black Panther suit. I have some concerns about Shuri, and have since Chadwick passed, and it seemed like she would take over, both within story being the sister, the princess, if you will,
right,
as well as kind of just what society is like. Here's a chance to put the female up front, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just pointing out business things that happen. They go, oh, hey, look, here's a chance to diversify or put a female in the role. So it's not really shocking, but man, she was a fine actress for support. I don't think she can carry the film, and hell, man, they barely even use her in the trailer. How you feeling about Wakanda Forever, man?
I think it's one of the big, like, it's still a big mystery. And I think for how bad Star Wars leaks are, Marvel's leaks are very good, because there's still a lot of mystery behind this movie. So I don't think it's a slam dunk that Shuri will be the Black Panther at the end of the movie. I think maybe you might see her don the suit sometime in the beginning or middle, to depending on how they explain T'Challa's death, but I don't see. Maybe, I mean, I'm okay with it because it's kind of family lineage and heritage and stuff like that.
It makes sense.
So it makes sense, yeah. But with Riri Williams, I think we get the origin of Ironheart, and as we saw in the kind of the trailer with the metal heart being casted. So that's two female lead superheroes. I mean, and it's going to be a very female driven movie, as we see already, and then with Namor coming in. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be as clear. I think there's gonna be like a twist at the end of who really turns into, like, who becomes a Black Panther.
Yeah, I had thought, and there were rumors, and I can't remember how much was like official, like people talking, but there was a rumor that we were going to get T'Challa's son at the end of this movie, and that there might even be a time jump or some way that he ends up aging up, so that way the third, if there is a third, or anything future with Black Panther could potentially deal with his son instead. I thought the best thing would have done, one, Shuri isn't necessarily a Black Panther type, character, and what I mean by that is she herself, her character isn't necessarily one that would want to take that mantle, right? I thought her being the scientist, she would make multiple Black Panther suits, and there would be like the stealth spy Black Panther suit that what's her name can use, the lady that T'Challa was attached to. I can't remember the character's name, but her character. I figured M'Baku would get a Black Panther suit and be like the muscle thing, and you'd see like a team of Black Panthers, if you will, until at the end she's like, yeah, it's great that we can do all these things, but we need that symbol, we need that one Black Panther. And then you pick an heir, or you leave it kind of open with T'Challa's child or something like that. And like I said, it all just comes down to having watched that movie, Black Panther and Infinity War, and just been like, yeah, she's a fine actress. I don't know if she's a franchise, and I'm not saying that she can't be or won't be. I'm saying I didn't see it necessarily, and I
don't think anybody really for the unexpected death of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody. I think the plan was for Chadwick Boseman to be Black Panther for a long time, at least through these 3 phases, 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, his death kind of threw a wrinkle in the plans moving forward. So yeah, it's one of those things. It would be interesting to see T'Challa having a son, and going down that route, like maybe they hold them, like you said, kind of pass around the Black Panther suit until his son is of age, and then he can come. And that's an interesting concept there. I didn't even think about that one. So,
it's all right. We can't all be brilliant brain damaged people like myself.
You're the brains of this whole organization, so
that's scary. Almost as scary as awful segues to our sponsors, Grow Generation.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Thank you, Grow Generation, for sponsoring the episode. As usual, link down in the description box below, ladies and gentlemen. So the kind of like last story, and I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe we'll be done in just a few moments. Maybe we'll talk for a while. But we finally got some news on Grand Theft Auto 6, and there's words people have and thoughts people have. Excuse me. It looks like the next game will be set in Vice City, which is something most people figured would be. They're indicating that it'll be a fictionalized Miami, which is what Vice City was. But it will be updated with new missions and cities on a regular basis. So they're definitely looking at that game as a service, which I think is an awful idea. Look at how many times they've re-released and added stuff to GTA 5 instead of creating a new one. So more of that, and it looks like we're going to get a female character who will be Latina. And there will also be a male character you can play as both, a fully playable female character, and kind of influenced by real life criminals Bonnie and Clyde. The report also indicates that the launch. Oh, I already read that part. So yeah, look, there's no issue with the female lead. I have a poster of Aloy from Horizon right in front of me. I have no issues with that. Using Vice City, I have no issues with it. But the report talked a bunch about like social changes and things in the studio, and it's got a lot of people worried that we might see less violence, less sex and drugs, but I don't know if any of that necessarily means that you have to get less, because that's what GTA is. It's violence, drugs, sex, and crime. And whether people like it or not, women have participated in all of them. I mean, we're all here, right? So obviously at some point a woman had sex, So I don't think this is necessarily indicative that it'll be neutered, so to speak. What do you think?
Yeah, and when I read it, it was almost like thinking if you took fatalities out of Mortal Kombat, you would just have Street Fighter, right? It would just be so like it's not the same game. So if you take out and you you say neuter Grand Theft Auto, like is it Grand Theft Auto? Or is it just Need for Speed? Like that's how I take it. Like, are we just stealing cars and just evading cops? Then that's Need for Speed, just in a different form of it. I think to keep it Grand Theft Auto, you got to keep that stuff in there. And listen, I think video games have always been that realm that has never been politically correct. Like, I think once we got the introduction of Mortal Kombat and some of the other mature rating games, you know, I think that was the definitive moment where video games just go in a different realm. Because if we're gonna start taking away from Grand Theft Auto, then what are you going to do to Call of Duty? Are you going to take away, you know, kill headshots and stuff like that? And, you know, or, like, it doesn't make
Call
any
of Duty
sense.
Paintball edition.
Airsoft
edition.
I just, I don't mind. Like, I think a female lead, great. It's something different, you know, because like I was telling you before, I think the last one I played was San Andreas, because it gets repetitive. It's just basically new city, new music, but same concept. Go steal, go kill, go, you know, and so it's fine. And, you know, mine, you know, favorite all time is Vice City. So when they said that they were going to bring, you know, Vice City, or that, you know, that kind of realm back into it, I thought, you know, good. I think that is considered the most popular in all the polls and stuff like that. Like, you know, for at least for my age, for those who you know, were like teenagers and people in their 20s and stuff, Vice City was hugely popular. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's just to see that you're going to take away some of the core concepts of what Grand Theft Auto is, then it's not Grand Theft Auto. It's Need for Speed or something else, you know? And
like I said, there is no outright, hey, we're going to be less this, that, or the other. One of the few things that they do mention in that report is that there will be less jokes that, quote, punch down, unquote, at marginalized groups. And that's one of those things where you go, okay, well, what is reality? If you're playing a game that's simulating a particular group of people, whether it be a gang or an ethnicity, whether it be anything, it could be a religion. They've made fun of Scientologists in Grand Theft Auto. The point is that there are these are all inspired by real things, real settings, and they haven't set a time. We know that the last time we did San Andreas, that was the 90s, but you know, the current version of San Andreas, if you will, which is in Grand Theft Auto 5, is set modern time. So I don't know if this 6 will be set in the 80s, like I would hope, but or if it will be modern times. And if it were set in the 80s, I hate to tell you guys this, but they talked differently. They did use inappropriate terms, and it's kind of like, where do you draw the line? Like, history happened, like it happened. And
well, and also too, if you're playing a game Grand Theft Auto, if you're playing a game Grand Theft Auto where it's all about drugs, killing, and stealing cars, I don't think that the people that in real life that do that stuff are conscious of being politically correct of how they talk to each other, right? You know, it's kind of like the show Peaky Blinders, and I don't know if you've watched it on Netflix. I mean, it's a period piece. It's set, you know, post World War I, and there's a lot of, you know, graphic, you know, words used and stuff, but it has to be said because that was the time. That's the type of, you know, lifestyle it was, and guys who are, you know, trying to steal money and stuff like that don't really care what you're thinking and stuff. Yeah, and so they don't care about your feelings. So, like, for me, I'm with you on it. If you're doing Grand Theft Auto, you got to do it. You can't hold back. I mean, sure, don't use certain words. Don't use the N word. Don't use
not as often. Or,
okay, I got you on that. But if you're consciously trying to look at the script of, you know, and the voice actors and stuff, and be like, oh, we can't say this. Oh, we can't say that. Then it's going to be it's going to be a weird piece. Like, just make it, you know, a mature rating, and, you know, say, you know, put the advisories on there, and then it's up to the parents to decide. Exactly. I want my kid playing this game and being exposed to it. If they don't, then they don't. Let them play Super Mario Brothers and Zelda and all those other. There's plenty of games out there that don't, you know, have that type of graphic portrayal.
And I hate to say it, but if you're you're gonna be offended, I mean, and I don't mean offended as in, oh, that sucks. I mean to the point where yes, someone using, let's say in the 90s, which happened a lot, using the phrase gay as a synonym for shitty. South Park still has hundreds of episodes of someone say, oh, that's gay, right?
Right.
That is offensive, and we know that today. However, in the context of the time, guess what? There's a lot of entertainment that used it. If you're going to be offended beyond, hey, that's not right today, to the point where you're like, I don't even want to hear it in a period accurate setting, don't play the game. I really get upset at everyone that feels like they're entitled to play every game or entitled to watch every movie. You are entitled to the ability to do it, but not at the expense of everyone else's, including the creators and the writers and directors of all entertainment projects. That's not me saying that we need these games to be filled with, because the fact is just because some people were saying it and it was relatively popular didn't mean it was every other word out of someone's mouth or the only insult that they used. But to completely ignore it, and I'll put this out there. There were some people complaining about the most recent season of Stranger Things because they feel that, and this is the phrase that I've read online, that people were queer baited. Apparently, that's whenever you tease, hey, we're going to have some LGBTQ representation. It's going to be really a big deal, and then when the project comes out, it's not as big a deal. Think Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Because they said, hey, we're gonna have super stuff with super lesbian stuff with or bisexual stuff with Valkyrie, and she kisses like one girl's hand, and that's it. With Stranger Things, people were like, oh, Will doesn't actually come out. There's no support for Will. Well, he's a teenager in the 80s when coming out, especially being from some podunk town in Indiana, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So people were wanting some 2022 cathartic coming out thing, and it's like, guys, that's not real. And I know that we're in a fantastical world. Well, you're not realistic with superpower. No, but the characters, the emotions, the human journey is realistic, and that, in my opinion, was what they were trying to convey in that. And I think Grand Theft Auto is a similar arena, where sure, it's fantastical, but you're still trying to simulate certain aspects of a world and or time. So
listen, even if Grand Theft Auto is modern times, say Vice City, but it's set in 2022. To my point, people who steal cars, who kill, who do drugs, are not politically correct. Sure, if you're making a video game, can you tone it down some? Yes. Can you avoid using some words? Yes. But at the same time, these are not nice people. These are not people that are caring about your feelings and how So I don't. If I'm working, if I'm a person that's sensitive to those things, I'm not going to go work on Grand Theft Auto. I'm not going to be a game designer, a video, that's not going to be for me,
not play it
exactly and stuff. So, and that's on, who's the developer? Rockstar. Yeah. And that's on Rockstar to make that decision. Like, do we continue going down that road of Grand Theft Auto, knowing that this is a controversial topic in society today? So I mean, if they're saying yes, we're gonna make this game, then make it,
make a Grand Theft Auto game.
Make a Grand Theft Auto game, and then put some parameters around it, and say, all right, we're gonna leave these words out, we're gonna leave these things out, and so taking rape out of the game. Okay, but I'm okay with that, no matter what period,
even removing prostitution completely while still a funny bit. Like, I could see someone wanting to remove that, but then you would have the sex work activists complaining that prostitutes exist, and you can't win.
Maybe they'll do a way where, like, you have Grand Theft Auto, and instead of having sex with a prostitute, you sign up for their OnlyFans account and have
There
them
you
sit in
go.
front of a
You
computer. There you go.
I was gonna say, if you set it in modern times, if you make it contemporary, you can make a lot of social commentary that way by having the bad guys be loose with their language, and someone out there who's kind of like, nah, we can be better bad guys. It's 20. There are ways to comment on how inappropriate some of those things are, and still include them in the game in a realistic way.
Right.
Damn, Rockstar. You can find me, Kyle M at lrmonline.com. Just let me know when you want me to start writing for you guys.
There you go.
I'm limited. Can't do a lot, but I do have a lot of really good ideas that I'll sell to you.
There you go.
All right. I guess we can call it a show, guys. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcast app, go ahead and give us a follow on that app. Google, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple, all of the above, and more. Leave us some reviews on those apps, because certain venues, outlets, and conventions and stuff want, hey, you got to have X amount of views, followers, or this type of rating. Especially you Apple people. I don't know why everyone thinks Apple Podcast is the one, but review us, please. And then of course, all of our great shows are available in video format on the YouTube channel. So please hit that red subscribe button. Marvel Multiverse Mayhem does Marvel news and reviews. The Cantina does Star Wars news and reviews. We have anime Versal reviews, and the soon coming AVR Squared, where Anime Versal reviews reacts to stuff. So there you go. And the Genre Shot trailer reactions, Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, and more, all available right there on the YouTube channel. You can access that and all of our written articles on lrmonline.com. Celebrity interviews, reviews, written reviews, news, leaks, opinion pieces, editorials on 80s and 90s nostalgic things like, God, what was Mark's most recent one? It was the one with All Stars or something like that.
I forgot all about that show.
Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson. I can't remember who.
Michael Jordan.
Michael.
Bird,
he wrote on that. So lots of great content at lrmonline.com. Shockey, what do you want to say, and where can people find you at online?
People can find me on Twitter, LRM_Shockey, or email me on the site. No, thank you everyone for listening and watching. We're trying to do our best, get as much out there for your entertainment pleasure. Please let us know what you like, let us know what you don't like, what we can change about it to make it a better show. That's all we're here for. We do this pretty much for fun, and just for share the same passion of geek culture. So yeah, if you want to join the podcast, or you want to start writing, you got an opinion, hit me up and we'll get you on.
Yep, right there's Michael at lrmonline.com on the screen, and for those that are listening, I just said it out loud. All right, it's been a good week so far. Friday you get Breaking Geek, and hopefully another episode and the Cantina. With that, guys, we'll talk. Yep, we'll talk to you next time.